bow our heads, please? Dear gracious and heavenly Father, dear Lord, we thank you for the blessings that you've bestowed upon us. Thank you for allowing us to be here this evening. If I could just lift up to you a young lady in our community, Miss Cammie Mercer. Today is International DDX3X Awareness Day. And just, Lord, I ask you to be with all the families around the world that are facing the challenge of this disorder, Lord. Thank you for all the blessings that you've given to us. Be with us as we go about the business of the city. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Benil.
Present.
Gauntz.
Yes, ma'am.
Kirkpatrick.
Yes, ma'am.
Lowry.
Here.
Marion.
Yes, ma'am.
Neal.
Here.
Norris.
Here.
Trigg.
Here.
Witcher.
Here.
Very good. We have 100% attendance. We have a quorum. We will move forward. The next item is the adoption of our agenda for tonight's meeting.
Mayor, I would ask that the council entertain a motion to amend the agenda as presented in order to address one item, that item being to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810(1)C for discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of the city. This new item can be taken up at the last new business item.
You've heard the suggestion by the city attorney. Based upon the city attorney's request, I would entertain such a motion from a council member to do so.
Motion, Benil.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Lowry.
Okay, any discussion of this change in the agenda? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, and the motion carries, and we will move that we will insert that on the agenda on the second page right before the announcements section on the second page of the agenda. All right, with that being taken care of, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our city council meeting that we had back on May the 22nd.
Motion, Benil.
Motion, second, Norris.
Okay, all right. Did you get that? Terry is a motion and Freddie is the second. Any discussion about the minutes from the last meeting? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries and the minutes are approved from our last meeting. I lost my notes. Here they are. We're now ready to conduct the public hearing with regard to the use of municipal road aid funds. Kentucky Revised Statutes, KRS 174.100, requires that before any city expends state-derived tax revenues on a state, rural, secondary, county road, or municipal highway, road, street, or county or municipal bridge, the city shall provide an opportunity for the public to provide input in a public meeting with regard to the project and to the priorities for the use of the tax monies for the road and bridges purposes. Now, each council member has before them the proposed list of projects that the city intends to work on this coming fiscal year, for which the state-derived tax revenues will be used. The published agenda reference to KRS 42.455 was incorrect. That statute does not apply to our situation. Further, any reference in the published agenda that there would be a public hearing on the proposed annual budget was incorrect. This public hearing that's underway right now is only relating to the budget items in terms of the city's use of state municipal road aid funds. I just wanted to clarify that before we started. So when we have the first reading of the 2023-24 proposed annual budget tonight, there will be no public comment period. So that being said, I'm going to open up the public comment period with respect to the proposed road aid projects that appear for the 2023-24 fiscal year.
Mayor, on the public hearing paper, it says that that public hearing will be held at 7 o'clock today.
Well, where, on the, what paper, though?
The sign-in paper and the public hearing paper,
Okay.
so I'm not sure we get anything.
Did we publish that as at 7 o'clock?
Looks like it.
Well, I mean, it's part of the meeting.
Mayor, I think that the agenda that include, at the top of the agenda, it says 6 PM. And then as part of the agenda, it does include this public hearing. I'm,
It does say 7.
Well, then if that's the case, we'll have enough things to take care of here tonight at 7 o'clock. We will remind people that we are also still in a public hearing for anybody that might come in and want to comment on the municipal road aid coming up here in the next fiscal year. Do you think that, does that sound like something we should do? I'm glad you caught that, because we could and we have had people come up here because of our time change, but let's go ahead and move forward with the meeting. There will be nothing wrong with anybody that comes in at 7 o'clock for the hearing to not give them the opportunity to speak on the road aid usage, okay? All right.
Mayor, we can just consider the public hearing suspended until 7 o'clock, and then you can reconvene at that time.
All right, I think that'll be fine.
Yes, sir.
Just for the roads. Okay, let me get my other act together right here, because we will move forward. And I do enjoy, and I get a lot of good comments about the city people that do the work around here, the department directors, when they make their presentations to the city council. And we have 3 excellent communicators here tonight to talk about our departments. Our 911 communications director is Beverly Harbison, and I'm going to call her to the microphone to give her report. And unless April Dunbar is the assistant director of the 911 emergency center, and y'all can work together, but we're looking forward to hearing from you, okay?
That's what we do each day.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to thank April for fixing this awesome slideshow for us. She's really good at stuff like that, if you ever need any help. Our communications department, we're a little bit different from any other city department. We not only do communications for the city of Glasgow, we do all communications for police, fire, and EMS for all of Barron County. We do all of Metcalfe County's EMS. We answer all 911 calls for Barron and Metcalfe County. If you'll look at your first sheet there, the call volume, this is just in a nutshell how many incoming calls that we had for 22-20. This is for the year 1/1/22 to 12/31/22. So we had a total of 27,213 911 calls, admit calls 80,258, with a total of 107,471. Look down below that, we average about 75 911 calls a day is what we're averaging. Probably 5% of those calls go to Metcalfe County, or 5 calls a day is what we're transferring to Metcalfe County. The rest of them belong to us. Admit, you can see there, we over 219,000, 105 for outgoing calls, and then our texty, which is text to 911, is 4.3. Outbound calls, these are all the calls that when we pick up the phone and we call someone back, 38,657 for the year. Texty is beginning to become a little bit more popular. 1,597 calls is what, our text calls, what we had. We use our text a lot when, say we get a hang-up, 911 hang-up, we may text that number back to get a response a lot of time. So the totals for the year was 147,725. A lot of phone calls. The next sheet is dispatch calls. This is actual calls of service where a first responder, whether it be police, fire, EMS, responded to. We have these broken down. The city of Glasgow, which is Glasgow Fire and Glasgow Police, 36,380. Cave City was 7,153. We have all the county fire departments along with the sheriff and the constables at 16,702. Barron Metcalf EMS, 10,954. And Park City, which Park City, the SO covers that, but we do all the dispatch for the Park City area, 1,125. With a total of 72,314 calls of service. That's actually calls that we've dispatched someone to. Any questions? I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on stuff because I know both the police chief and fire chief has gotten a lot of numbers from us, so we don't want to bore you with numbers. But right here is just a breakdown of the city of Glasgow, Barron County, the percentages, Barron Metcalf EMS, Cave City, and the city of Park City. So most of our calls, 50% of our calls, are in the city of Glasgow. Okay. So, what's the next one there? Okay. So now we're going to brag on our team. We have an awesome team. We have 16 positions, dispatch positions, 3 of those being supervisor position. Myself and April, that's 18 total. We have 3 part-timers currently. We are down 3 positions currently. This is going to be our second week of interviewing, so we need to hire some folks because we have a young lady that's retiring in July. We have one young lady that's at DOCJT. This is her second weekend, so that's a 4-week academy they have to attend. So we're struggling, but we're getting there. So if you go back just one, I want to show my folks off. There's a lot of things that we try to get out into the community when we can. We love working with the kids. Here's a picture of us at the City of Glasgow Christmas dinner. We had breakfast at the center, and we all wore our pajamas, and I want you all to look at Josh Garman there in his outfit. So we had a lot of fun that day. Okay. This is our good neighbor and Fire Chief Rock. He fixed lunch for us during Telecommunicator Week. And then him and Bo Turner sprucing up the building outside. They are excellent neighbors. If we need someone, they're there. They're for us always. This is April and Julie. They went to the Boys and Girls Club and at Christmas and shopped with the kids. And then Josh Garman, my shift supervisor, and myself went down to the Boys and Girls Club and talked about becoming a 911 dispatcher. This is Crystal Dotson and Erica Brody, back when they graduated from the academy. On the left. On the right is April Dunbar, myself, and Julie Greer. We're on the red carpet at Kena at state conference last year. We had a really good time. And also, just to let you know, April is second vice president of our state chapter. So that's a big deal. She's going to Texas next week for some training. So we're proud of her for that. On the left here, we have Julie Greer and April Lanning. April's new to us. She's training. They are at Caverna High School during career day. And Josh and Julie and I are supporting Down syndrome. We do that each year. And then on the right, we have Caitlin Gum and April. They are doing a career day at North Jackson. And at Christmas, we had some Christmas elves here. That's us on the left getting our cookies. They were really good, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the gentleman's name. On the right is Julie Greer, April Dunbar, Caitlin Gum, and myself when Caitlin graduated a few months ago. Graduation is a big deal. We're always proud to go up and support our team. On the left is, we're at the center. We done a big thing Halloween. We all dressed up, so we do look a little funny there. And on the right, we are celebrating Veterans Day. Nicole Williams there holding the cake is our Navy veteran, so we celebrated her on Veterans Day. Anything we can celebrate with cake, we do that. This is Law Enforcement Week. April Dunbar had went and visited the Cave City Police Chief, and we have Chief Howie there, and then we have Sheriff King there. So, unless you all have any questions, we thank you all for your attention and your time.
April, I have one question, and thank you and both of you for the service you're doing, so appreciate that. But with the volume of calls, we're seeing those increasing in
Yes,
this
sir.
past year,
Yes, sir.
right? And increasing both in the city and the county,
Yes, sir.
or just, okay?
Yes, sir.
I just say, is there a pinpoint, like more calls to the city of Glasgow versus the county?
I'm going to say not really. I mean, we all know that our mental health calls have went up, and I'm sure the police chief will talk about that some with, which the mental health, a lot of times your domestic calls will go up, but they're not going to go down. And we haven't seen any of our calls go down.
So we're up 5%, 10% previous year?
We haven't really run the numbers, Terry, as far as that increase for this.
Thanks, Brad.
Other questions for Beverly or for April? I'll just say this. If you live here and these three reports you're going to hear tonight, you should be sleeping a whole lot better knowing who is running the show. I have to go over there and sign checks a couple of days a week. I have to ring the doorbell to get in, and the last two times I went and rung the doorbell, the dispatcher who let me in was also on the phone helping a lady who was in labor. That's what happens over there. It's not just two-way radio and an ambulance. They are trained, what do you call it, EMD?
Emergency Medical Dispatch.
And if you're having a problem, you can call. They're helping ladies get through labor. They're helping people triage things. It's a whole lot more than a dispatcher and a whole lot more than just a radio operator. And I applaud the quality that you all demand of a really nice staff over there.
Thank you, Mayor.
For sure. Thank y'all very much. All right, and I'll let them clear up. It looks to me like that we have Chief William Rock from the Glasgow Fire Department who is going to present his annual report to us tonight. Chief Rock, sir.
Cross your fingers that this works. It worked twice and not once. Oh, I believe
We have an image.
I believe we're in the game. I printed, got all y'all a packet in front of you. I ran a little short, had to bring an extra two up for Attorney Miss Mona. This all started with a numbers game. We get an opportunity to come up here and give you our numbers, and I'm a little outside the box kind of thinker, so I take this opportunity and I'll talk a little bit about numbers, then the rest about my team, since I got your ear and the community's ear as well. First, I'd like to start off before I even get into my presentation to thank Beverly, Chief Howie. We all work great together. People so many times forget that dispatch, like they say, is the unsung hero because they tell us where to go. You know, they always see us going. Without somebody telling us where to go, it'd kind of be useless. I'd also like to thank the city council, all the people in the city. They've been super good to me. They're easy to work with. They never meet me with, if I have a dumb question, they never act like it's a dumb question. They're super great. So I want to start off that and thank you for the opportunity for tonight. We'll start off. Year in review. Mine's a little different. It goes from July 1 of last year through May of this year. The numbers skew a little bit here and forth. We just start off, you'll see to the left, there's our new truck we got in February that was ordered a year ago, last December, that didn't come in, and this is the apparatus that we ended up purchasing after the others defaulted on us. If you'll see Sparky, he participated in a run. If you'll see on the right there, I've got questionnaire boxes at my stations, and the only problem I've ever had issued was they asked if we could run flags on the apparatuses, and you'll see Old Glory flying there on the back of the ladder. This is our new truck. We had a push-in this year. It's a celebration that fire departments have throughout the nation. We tried it this year. I've got a bunch of retired people come in. The mayor and some city officials came in, and they helped us push our new engine in the Station 1 there, and this is it. Now we'll get to some of the boring stuff. 1,062 runs. The numbers, like I said, are a little skewed from Miss Beverly's because I went from July to May from the last presentation. 55 of these have been fires. When you say fire, a lot of people think it's a structure fire, but we do anything from structure fires, vehicle fires, trash fires, landfill fires, and I got a misprint on my thing, and I noticed that, but we'll just skip by before y'all see that. You'll see the one here that's most devastating of the last year, and that's Richardson Field, which we all know has caused much pain within the city. And if you were there, which like I was, you saw the people stop by and saw how emotional it was, the ball players from years gone by that stopped in the mid-morning hours to see what was going on, and just the community members that came out. The bad thing about fires, it's so devastating throughout the community, and it touches so many different people. Whether it be Richardson Field, a house fire, car fires, as you see right here, and you'll see my slide, they're forever evolving. We want to go electric. Everybody talks about electric, but they never think about the impact it'll have on my community, my guys. An electric car, about 17,000 gallons to put out a Tesla. You know, the best thing to do with the Tesla is put it away from everybody so it doesn't catch anything else on fire. Because after you put 17,000 gallons on an electric car, you can only imagine what you're going to have. So, but those are the things of the future that's coming, and they're forever evolving. Structure fires, never a good day. This is a fire that we had over on the other side of town. I'll try not to mention places on any of these, just out of the courtesy for the people that lost their things. Hazardous material spills. 21 and a half years I've been here, had a couple of incidents. This year we had one of our largest incidents out of one of the factories. Had a massive chlorine leak. The only good thing that comes out of a massive chlorine leak is that place is going to be top notch when it comes, and you probably won't have another chlorine leak there for a long time. As you can see, chlorine, like anything, is such a volatile substance and just degrades everything it comes in contact with. We had nobody was hurt. Everything was fixed, but it is something that we have to deal with too, that nobody really ever wants to deal with. 383 emergency medical calls. These are to assist EMS. Medical calls where EMS is not available. Like you saw, the runs are through the roof. And a lot of times we'll get a call that says no EMS unit available, so we're scotching until they get there. Of course, we're not going to load them up in the fire truck, but we're there taking care of things until they get there. And we also respond to all unresponsive people. In this also is those to include, I had the same slide last year and I liked it so well. These are lock-ins. When I say a lock-in or lock-out, that's such a weird term. If you'll notice this time of year, 80, 90 degrees, you ever jumped in your car after a long day and saw how hot it was? What if there's a child or a pet in there, you know, Lord forbid, and somebody sees it, they call us, we go. If somebody's locked themselves out of their house and their meds are inside and they can't get, we try to be good wards of the city. You know, we're not going to just go because you were negligent and forgot your keys in your car. But when there could possibly be someone or something put in danger, we go take care of those things as well. Vehicle accidents. Probably a third of our runs in this category are vehicle accidents. Vehicle accidents, thank goodness, a lot of times end up being non-injury accidents, where it's only the car that's been injured, and we all know that they're replaceable. Because the worst thing to do, especially if you have kids, and all of our people do, is you never know who's in the car. and we're such a tight-knit community. It's just a bad run to go to. Alarms, false alarms. We have one of our major employers here that burn a lot of popcorn, and we tend to go out there a lot. Of course, we always, if you'll see us going and you see the lights blaring, and they think, gosh, what have they got? And all of a sudden the lights go off and they keep going. Don't think that we're just trying to get through the red light, because that's probably because we've contacted a guard. They said, we burned some popcorn, it's okay. Our protocol is we always send one truck on anyhow, because history prevails, and a lot of times if somebody did burn something, they said, well, it's okay, and it's still burning. We always send a unit just to make sure everything's okay, and to visually speak with somebody at the facility. Unintentional fire alarms. Everybody says you start out one way and you end up the other, just like a little child. And as I'm getting older, I see that, because I'm like a little child. I don't walk as well as I did before. Everything doesn't work like it did. And that's who pulls fire alarms. We go to daycares, they pull them. Nursing homes, they pull them. And sometimes it's kind of funny, because they like seeing us, because sometimes they say, yeah, we get the big firemen come in every time we pull a fire alarm, So then they tell their friends, and next thing you know, all these women are waiting at the door when the fire alarm gets there. But it's a good thing. Alarm malfunctions. When lightning strikes, it's got a lot better. Usually lightning strikes, you got about 4 places that the alarm goes off, comes back on, it sends us. 20 years ago, if it stormed, you just went and got in the truck. You have no idea how things have got better throughout the years. Because used to, we would run all over. Because the power went off, we'd go. False alarms, like I said, burnt toast, burnt beans. If you're ever going to accidentally burn something in your house, please do not burn pinto beans, because you might as well call Servpro. Because Servpro will clean your house, because it is almost impossible to get the smell of burnt pinto beans out of your house. Good intent calls. These are probably, I say they kind of get old. These are the calls that people go and they say, oh, I get so tired of going. Where you go and you get canceled because somebody's burning something, or they've smoked in the area, or whatever the case may be. A lot of times it's just, I've come to find out that smoke bothers people a whole lot more during the day. At night, when nobody sees it, it tends not to bother people when they're not out seeing what everybody's doing. I mean, just is what it is. Like I said, you know me, I'm just an open and honest person. And smoke bothers people a whole lot more in the day when they see it than it does at night. It will go, and it's usually somebody cooking a hot dog. Person in distress. I may spend a little bit more time on this slide, because this is the slide, this is the thing that I am probably most passionate about. I go to the schools and teach, and they say, what is your most rewarding thing that you've done? And when people say, well, I took this guy, pulled him from a house, or we popped a door and we pulled these people from a wrecked car. But as I get older, this is probably one of my most favorite things to do, is especially when I was on the truck, is you go to an elderly lady's house and she's in the floor and she can't get up, and her husband is exhausted and he looks like he's the one that needs help because he's tried for 2 hours to get her up. And then you get her up and she offers you, a vanilla wafer and a cup of coffee, because until we got something else to go, we'll sit at the table and drink a cup of coffee or a Diet Right or whatever the case may be, and knowing that lady, the last thing she wanted to do was fall. The next last thing was to call somebody to come and pick her up. But when she did, she probably got to see the most people she'd seen in a month in that one day. And to me, that's the most rewarding part of this job. Now, granted, we go pick up a lot of people, the same people, and I will tell my people, you can complain all you want on the way there and on the way back. But you treat them like your mom or your grandma while you're there. You can change when I leave, but that's the way it's going to be while I'm here, because I'm pretty peculiar about that, and I don't foresee it changing. Now we get to the bad news, which is the evolving thing that I know y'all hear. I'm currently down 3. When I done this slide, it was last week. In about a week, I'll be down 4. I had another one turn his notice in. The first one I had leave was Sergeant Andrew Bagshaw. He went to Shepherdsville. We can't compete with Shepherdsville. I know we can't, but I can't blame him for going either. He's a single man. They let him transfer. kept his time, kept his position. I mean, people are so willing to take people. They're cutting their rules to get them. My firefighter inspector, Dakota Rigsby, great young man. Probably one of the hardest things he did was come in and tell me he was leaving. He loves it. Bought his own helmet 2 years ago. But he went somewhere he couldn't pace up the opportunity for his family. And I get it. Sergeant Emily Wilson been here 7 years. She was our first and only female we ever had. Awesome. She had one child. She come back. I think she come back so strong because people told her she probably wouldn't come back. She had her second child, and it's harder to leave that second child. So if you look at her, she's got an ice cream truck that is the ice cream department, which is a fire department emblem. And she went home to be with her kids. She's selling ice cream, works part-time EMS if she has to. She's wanting to raise her kids. Can't blame her a bit. Firefighter David Carrick, he came in 20 years ago. He'll be retiring out. July 31st is his last day. And I just had another gentleman that left, and I have no idea where he's going, but it's not another fire department. But he's leaving, but it's just growing pains, and we'll get through them. New firefighters, these are the ones I told you were going on shift last year. Augustine Leyva went on shift. I know you've probably seen him around. Nick Cooper and David Jimenez. Those are our 3 new firefighters that went on shift last year. Promotions that came subsequently with those. I promoted Battalion Chief Tinsley, Captain Botts. I know y'all know him, and I want to give a shout out to him because he could retire, and he's sticking around a little bit. And I would like to personally say that he's sticking around for us because he doesn't have to. So if you see him, you say thanks a lot because he's got a lot of experience. Lieutenant Harley Hedrick, Lieutenant Thompson, and Lieutenant Andrew Daniels. That's Darren Thompson, by the way. Those are my new officers, and they are awesome. This year I had our first 2 Academy graduates. They just come back the 13th. Today was a month ago. Firefighter Eli Edwards and Firefighter Trey Colson. First time we've ever sent anybody to an academy. This is only the 2nd class that the state has ever had. And this is free of charge for this class. We have to pay for the people, but they train them 13 weeks. They come back and they're fully certified. Now we'll get down to the nuts and bolts where a lot of people, contrary to popular belief, if you look to the left, this is not our most used asset. A lot of people say, well, the fire department must be nice. Go up there and watch TV and sit in a recliner. If they sit in a recliner, they're more than welcome by me because that means they've already got their job done and they've already trained. But if you look to the right, that picture says it all. That's what my people have, heart and determination. And if you ever see them work, you'll know that we're small but mighty. Same stuff, different year. Fire inspections, they're not on my number, but I've got inspectors that inspect over 184 businesses and continue to do it daily. Right here's some training numbers. I won't go great. You can read it. It's just your basic. We have people that we have to have 100 hours. They average 150. We send 4 people to Greenville. We sent 2 for driver operator, 1 for officer, 1 for inspector. These are all stuff that people sign up for to do and go and do and leave their family. This is nothing that we make them do. So it's just so much appreciative, and that's the people. Physical fitness is a must in our line of work. We have numerous places within the city. I won't name places, people, or nothing, but they're very supportive of us. And they do. And I have got a crew that I swore that I would make them have a physical fitness program, and haven't had to say a thing. They do it all on their own. And they're awesome. So if you ever have trouble, our guys are the ones you need. Hydrant testing. Anybody, I probably didn't know there's over 900 hydrants in the city. And we physically turn on and check every hydrant every year. We may not tell you how great it is, but because you probably may not want to know, and some of them may rattle your windows, but we physically check them all, and they've all got water coming out of them. Hose. We check it ourselves every year. 15,000 feet of hose, total combined. We hand touch every piece of it to check it every year. Like Beverly said, maintenance. This is where we shine because, as you know, we don't draw in a lot of money, but we save a lot of money because we do our own maintenance. We do our own painting. We do our own staining. We do our own maintenance of all kinds. This is our station that we tore all the floor out. Not had a contractor. We bought the floor. This is when they did it. this is what you got. If anybody's had anything done at your home, it's a pretty good expense that you save when you forget that labor. And that's what we do on our spare time. They do it between runs, after supper, before they go to bed. They take care of it all. And here's the fun stuff. Same slide as last year. It's the same fun every year. We get to talk to kids. And I'll finish up with, this is not just a job. We get to meet the community. People don't know we wash our own dishes. I got a few pictures. I'm going to pull a Beverly here. This is our first Christmas party in 15 years that I can remember, at least 15 years. And it was awesome, and everybody loved it. And if you'll notice, all those people, that's one shift that corresponded to where the funky sweaters, they done that all on their own with their own little Santa Claus there. I don't know what he got out of that, but I'm sure he got something pretty good. Once again, this is the first firefighter of the year since I've been there, Sergeant Colin Manley, young man from Smiths Grove, on Gott Fire Department, right at Bowling Green, has no desire to go, loves it here. That's what we need, that's what we want, and that's what you'll have. And just like last year, the four I talked about that was coming by Christmas, here they are. Here's our 4 babies of the year. You got to finish with babies because nobody can frown when you see a baby face. Thank you very much. Do I have any questions? And I appreciate your time. And I know I'm a little long-winded, and I'm sure the chief, I can feel his eyes burning, holding back in my head right now. But I'll be happy to entertain any questions you have.
Questions for Chief Rock?
I know I covered a lot.
It's a very complete report, and I think people should easily be able to feel that it's quite the family you have over there. Pictures of the newborns, pictures of the get-togethers, and yet how you all get serious with your training and serious when difficult jobs come before you. And you need to pass along to everybody at your department how much we appreciate and how safe we feel with them doing their job, sir.
I will, and thank you, and you should, because it's the easiest job I've had in 20 years as far as work. I got that good of guys.
Good deal. We detect that, too.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you. And we're going to continue on the agenda. Let's see, what time is it anyway? So we are, if we have people come in, we're at the 7 o'clock hour for the public hearing. Next, we'll move into our presentation from the Glasgow Police Department, and we have the Chief of the Glasgow Police Department, an expert on IT equipment. Chief Guy Howie.
How about that? Well, I don't know if what I can do after that presentation from the fire chief. It was pretty awesome. Learned a lot. I want to echo his thoughts about working together as a team, because we truly do. And so many times when you talk about first responders, immediately it comes to mind police and fire. But these ladies right here are truly your first responders, because that's where it starts, is with them. And the information they give us is truly important, and it does take a team to provide that information. So, thanks. So, thanks for the opportunity, and I'll just want to go over a few things with you. When you think of a police officer, you probably have this picture in your mind, right down to the mall cop. So those are the pictures that come to mind when you see when you talk about police. But not so much with us. I mean, you'll see some of that with us, but more, you're going to see more community interaction. And we probably touch the lives of more citizens doing public events than we do responding to calls for service. And we have the opportunity to do positive things every day in this community. Back after George Floyd and the protests that were going on around the country, if you'll notice right in the middle, there's one of our police officers at a peaceful protest praying with one of the protesters. So it is truly something when you are able to touch the lives of somebody. The young gentleman in the lower left who's getting his head shaved is Officer James. He's an animal control officer, and they were doing a special project for Brawa, raising some money, and he said if they raised so much money, he'd get his head shaved. So he's getting his head shaved. But our community service events, like I said, go well beyond what we do when we are running lights and siren or putting handcuffs on arrestees. Some of the events that we did last year that we helped with, and I truly mean help, because there's so many events that take so many city departments and community agencies to help put together. Last year in 2022, we did 90 events to include everything from the sip and strolls to the Groove and Glow, entertain Glasgow. Probably one of the best things we do, though, and we don't do as many as we would like to do, simply from a financial standpoint, is the car seat installations. When we can protect a child by properly having a car seat installed in a car, then we don't need EMS as much. And it's got to be hard when EMS responds to a call for a car accident when there's a infant that is injured needlessly because they said they couldn't get a car seat. We have car seats. 2023 events so far, we've had 29 events that we've helped within the community. We just got done with the car show, as most of y'all know. The Blackstone Cherry concert was a big draw. The Sip, Shop, and Stroll was a big draw. But once again, I want to highlight the car safety. We do have some more car seats coming, correct? So we install those. We have several officers that are certified to install a car seat. And if you think it's just easy to take the car seat, put it in the back seat, strap a seat belt around the car seat, you're wrong. Because it's a feat on some of these cars to get those installed. We have to use pull noodles on them sometimes just to get them to fit right. So 2022 calls for service. Little pie chart. I'll show you the main one. You brought it up earlier about mental health is the domestic trouble that we respond to. We responded in 2022 to more domestic problems than we did a lot of others, and that seems to be the growing trend. Councilman, you ask about mental health. Our mental health calls for transports is a true burden on the police department because we're responsible for transporting those individuals that are in a mental health crisis from here either to Bowling Green and a lot of times all the way back to Hopkinsville to Western State. And we see that continue to rise. TJ is doing a new assessment center, and hopefully we won't have to transport as many, that they'll be able to help right here locally in the community. Our calls for service, 2022, the numbers disappeared. Of course, it all went away. Technology at its finest. I'll give you the total in just a second. Maybe I won't. My numbers went away. I'm sorry, folks. So for 2022, we had a little over 35,000 calls for service. From January to April of 2022, we had a little over 10,000. And January to April for 23, we're tracking just about the same. We're a little less. Now, you may want to know why we're a little less, because all these calls for service include those calls for service that are self-initiated by police officers. Those are traffic stops, those are drug arrests, anything we do proactively that generates a call for service is in that. And because we were down manpower-wise, those self-generated cases fell short. And I'll talk in a minute about where we stand with that. But we're tracking now to be about the same as we were last year. Motor vehicle collisions, 995 in 2022, 303 crashes were property damage, and 303 were in 2022, 301 so far this year. So we're running about the same. Damage in 2022 was 259. 2023, we are at 254, running about the same. Injury year to date, it's all about the same. But folks, we injure more people in Glasgow than all the crime put together in traffic-related accidents. So we're going to be focusing a little bit of efforts on where those accidents are happening and what we can do to prevent those accidents through selected enforcement. Let's talk about crime. Our assaults in 2022 were 115. Again, we're tracking about the same as we did last year. We had 2 murders last year, but so far this year we've also had 2, but we're only halfway through the year. So we've had two arsons last year. We have had none this year. So we're down. Our sexual assaults are up for this time. It looks like we are going to surpass our sexual assaults this year in 2023. Same with robberies. Now, some of these robberies, I'm going to tell you, are retail thefts that have turned into robberies. So when somebody steals something from a store and they resist, that makes it go up to a robbery. So it's not, always a gun at a convenience store or a business robbery. Burglaries, our burglaries are up compared to where they were the same time last year. Our thefts across the board are going up this year. And that is the trend, not just in Glasgow, but across the country. And as you can see, our shoplifting is up as well. I suspect we will surpass what we did in 2022 with the shoplifting. What we can do with shoplifting, that's more of a victim prevention measure than it is a police response to solving shoplifting problems. So we have worked and given suggestions to those businesses that see a shoplifting problem on how they can reduce it. Whether they take our advice or not is up to them, but we're still obligated to investigate those shoplifting complaints. And our auto thefts are down this year significantly. Any questions before I get into the animal control? Any questions about police or crime in general, or where we're going to go? Okay. Animal control officers, there's the 3 of them, Shelley Furlong. We have Miss Burton, and you'll remember the little gentleman that got his head shaved, Mr. James. Those are our animal control officers. Last year, their calls for service, 3,287. So far this year, 1,247. Last year, they issued 216 citations, and this isn't just within the city, this is countywide. This is City of Glasgow, the county, Cave City, all of it. And then in 2023, they're already up to 140 citations. Impounds, I wanted to call them arrests, but you can't put a dog in jail. So we impound the dogs and the cats, 542 in 22 and 196 in 2023. So where are we going to go? Where am I planning on going? For us, recruitment is a big issue right now. We have hired quite a few police officers, laterals. I've been able to get some of those laterals in, and we're down to 7 openings. We have 3 officers currently at the academy. One is graduating on the 15th. We'll be going to his graduation. We have 2 new officers that are in the process to be hired. We have 1 new officer that has applied today from another agency and is hopefully will be coming on board. I want to look at some proactive enforcement as it relates to drugs, violent crime, and issues that negatively affect our quality of life. When I say quality of life issues, when we have a neighborhood or an area that is deteriorating, that allows the criminal element to come in, and if they see a place doesn't really seem to care about what's going on in the neighborhood, then they think it's an easy target for crime. And so we're going to look at those through partnerships. I want to give a shout out to our code enforcement officer. She's awesome. That's a big part of cleaning up areas is through code enforcement, and she's done an awesome job. We've recently had a area where we have worked together with not only her but the fire department in trying to bring up a neighborhood into standards that's starting to cause us some issues. So partnerships like that, both within the city, with community groups, other government agencies to help move forward. Technology. You know, we can say all the time, throw more money, hire more people, throw more people at a problem, and that's not the answer in today's environment when we have technology. So we're going to be looking at some technology that I think is going to help us a lot to be able to identify those areas of crime where we need to deploy our manpower and help identify those people that are committing it. And then I want to look at personnel development or training. We have a very young department, and those officers that are coming on board need that development, need to move forward, continue to move forward, and our supervisors will be identifying those areas with those officers that they feel where they need more training or more development. So that's where I want to go in the short term. In the long term, I want to see those numbers come down. Anybody have any questions?
One question, Chief Howe.
Sure.
And since you've come back to Glasgow and obviously the police department, what's been your number one area that you focused on and motivated you to keep you going since you've been back?
Recruitment, talking to the officers, finding out what motivates them, what we need to do to motivate them, and they've been very responsive, been very forthcoming with what they feel needs to happen. One thing that I'm not really big on beards. Of course, that's old school. You know, you come clean shaven. But in today's society, I mean, it's almost a norm. So they were worried that I was gonna make them shave their beards off, and I told them no, I'm not going to, as long as they keep them well trimmed and and they're able to look professional, then we'll keep moving. We can do things to make officers and employees motivated that want to stay, that want to make Glasgow a career. And I think it's my job to be able to do that, to get them the tools that they need, to get them the training that they need, so that they feel that they're worth something. They're worth something to this community instead of being just a paycheck every other week. You're welcome.
Chief Howie, does the department have I'm over here.
Sorry.
That's okay. Does the department have a K-9 now?
No, we do not have a K-9 now. We currently I've put out a list for people that are interested in handling a K-9. I have 5 people on that list that want to run a K-9. I have 2 positions for a K-9. I'm not going to fill that right away until I get the patrol squads up to par. I don't want to pull somebody off the road when we're running a little short. So I want to get those up first, and then I'm going to absolutely use a K-9. That's part of helping get some of these drugs off the street.
Thank you.
Other questions for Chief Howie as we hear about our police department?
Thank you.
Chief, I know that when you came in, the numbers were kind of down, and I see that they're kind of coming back up, which is good for hiring and lateral moves and such. How many people do we have patrolling during the daytime or nighttime on a regular basis?
On a regular basis, right now, day shift is running 4. That's 3 officers and a sergeant. If somebody's sick, either a detective or even one of the patrol captains step up to the plate and we'll go out and answer calls for service. So on day shift, we're running about 4. Nights, one squad's up to 4. Yeah, one squad's up to 4 and the other one's up to 3. We hope to be releasing somebody pretty quick to go to that squad.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Any other questions for Chief Howie? I certainly have enjoyed hearing your report and hearing about how that things are going there at the police department, and I think the people that are sitting here at this table, the city council has got to be thoroughly impressed with the 3 department heads that we have heard here tonight, and how prepared that they are to keep us in the loop, to keep us ahead of schedule and ready to serve. And that's something that has to be done 24/7. And we thank you for your report and the others who have given us reports here tonight as well. Very good.
Thank you.
All right. It's 7 o'clock. Okay, so Marna's at 7 o'clock. Have we? There's nobody standing outside just yet, is there? We'll keep it open in case people got confused, all right? In the meantime, we don't have any old business, but we do have some new business to move to. We have some ordinances to consider, and I will ask City Attorney Rich Alexander to present the first reading.
This is an ordinance amending ordinance number 2022-3012, the City of Glasgow annual budget for fiscal year 7/1/2022 through June 30th, 2023. Be it hereby ordained by the City of Glasgow that its annual budget for fiscal year July 1, 2022 through 6/30/23 is amended as follows. Section 1, there is hereby transferred from the unappropriated general fund $61,000 to the administrative contractual service account for liability and work compensation insurance expenses. Section 2, there is hereby transferred from the unappropriated general fund $2,850 to the administrative maintenance and repairs account for back parking lot repairs. Section 3, there is hereby transferred from the unappropriated general fund $3,500 to the administrative accrued vacation account for accrued vacations. Section 4, there's hereby transferred to the unappropriated general fund $161,037 to the administrative opioids settlement account to be used per KRS 15.291 subsection 5. Section 5, there's hereby transferred to the unappropriated general fund $34,500 to the legislative professional technical account for legal fees for ethics trial. Section 6, there's hereby transferred from the unappropriated general fund $38,409 to the police department buildings account for the garage final phase. Section 7, there's hereby transferred from the unappropriated general fund $24,740 to the Glasgow Police Department accrued vacation account for accrued vacation. Section 8, there's hereby transferred from the unappropriated general fund $24,200 to the South Central Kentucky Cultural Center maintenance and repairs account for the new heating units. Section 9, there's hereby transferred from the unappropriated general fund $9,500 to the transit health insurance account for health insurance expenses. Section 10, there's hereby received into the general fund $60,463 into the administrative federal monies account for ARPA money, the COVID-related monies. Section 11, there's hereby received into the general fund $161,037 into the administrative opioid settlement account from the opioid settlement. Section 12, there's hereby transferred from the unappropriated plaza fund $39,800 to the plaza professional and technical account for professional services performed. Section 13, there's hereby transferred from the unappropriated plaza fund $7,000 to the plaza materials and supplies account for concessions. Section 14, this ordinance shall take effect upon its passage and publication according to law.
You have heard the ordinance. This is sometimes referred to as a budget amendment. Several parts of that Rich read to you. At this point, I will entertain a motion that we approve this budget amendment.
Motion, Kirkpatrick.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this budget amendment? If not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Benel,
Yes.
Gauntz,
Yes, ma'am.
Kirkpatrick,
Yes, ma'am.
Lowry,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes, ma'am.
Neal,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Trigg, Witcher.
All right, motion carries. We have another ordinance to consider, Rich.
This is the ordinance adopting the City of Glasgow annual budget for fiscal year July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024, establishing revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operation of city government. Whereas an annual budget proposal and message has been prepared and delivered to the City Council, and whereas the City Council has reviewed such budget proposal and made necessary modifications, now therefore be it hereby ordained by the City of Glasgow as follows. Section 1, the annual budget for fiscal year July 1, 2023 and ending June 30, 2024 is hereby adopted as follows. And I'll read the headings and then the various account carryovers, revenue, expenses, and so forth. The administrative account, there is no carryover. The estimated revenue for this particular fiscal year is $18,917,160. The expenses for this coming year, $3,477,169. There will be no remaining balance after this fiscal year for that particular department. The legislative, no estimated carryover, no estimated revenue. The expenses for the upcoming fiscal year are $92,851. The police department, no carryover. The estimated revenue for the upcoming year, $254,500. Estimated expenses at $5,123,262. No carryover or end-of-year balance. Animal control, no carryover from the prior year. The estimated revenues at $135,000. Estimated expenses at $290,580 with no balance at the end of the year. The fire department has no carryovers from the prior year. The estimated revenues for the upcoming year at $147,850. Estimated expenses, $4,788,097, and no fund balance at the end of the year. The fire department substation has no carryover, no revenue, but has estimated expenses for the upcoming year at $124,050 and no estimated balance at the end of the year. The communications department, no carryover from prior year, but estimated revenues of $285,000 for the upcoming year, with estimated expenses at $1,313,744 with no balance at the end of the year. Street department has no carryover from prior year, but estimated revenues for the upcoming year at $21,100, estimated expenses at $2,522,150 with no balance at the end of the year. Building inspector, no carryover from prior year, but estimated revenues for upcoming year at $199,600, estimated expenses at $336,566 with no balance at the end of the year. The transit department has no carryover from prior year, but estimated revenues of $144,000 for the upcoming year, estimated expenses at $217,948 with no balance. The recreation department has no carryover from prior year, but estimated revenues at $114,000 and expenses for the upcoming year of $2,038,730. Swimming pool has no carryover from prior year, estimated revenues for the upcoming year at $37,000, estimated expenses for the upcoming year at $2,558,700 with no balance at the end of the year. The South Central Kentucky Cultural Center has no carryover from prior year, no revenue for the upcoming year, but estimated expenses for the upcoming year of $57,700. The stormwater account, no carryover from prior year, no estimated revenues for the upcoming year, but expenses at $684,901 with no estimated balance. The general fund has a carryover from prior year of $11,994,180, estimated revenue for the upcoming year of $20,255,210, estimated expenses for the upcoming year of $23,626,448, with an estimated balance at the end of the upcoming fiscal year of $8,622,942. The plaza account has a carryover of $91,474 from prior year, estimated revenue for the upcoming year of $347,250, estimated expenses for the upcoming year $342,256, with a balance at the end of the upcoming fiscal year of $96,468. Municipal Road Aid Fund, carryover from prior year of $257,990, estimated revenue for the upcoming year of $280,000, expenses that same amount, leaving a balance estimated at the end of the year of $257,990. The CLEFT fund for the police and fire department has an estimated carryover from prior year of $373, estimated revenues of $509,625, estimated expenses for the upcoming year of $507,873, with an estimated balance at the end of this coming fiscal year of $2,125. The GEDL fund, the estimated carryover of $796,848, estimated revenues for the upcoming year of $114,600, estimated expenses for the new fiscal year of $100,000, leaving a estimated balance at the end of the upcoming fiscal year of $811,448. Municipal Cemetery has an estimated carryover from prior year of $125,811, estimated revenues for the upcoming year of $410,000, estimated expenses at $405,367, leaving an estimated balance fund of $130,444. The Perpetual Upkeep Fund has a carryover from prior year of $543,123, revenues estimated for the upcoming year of $16,000, estimated expenses at $5,500, which leaves an estimated balance at the end of our upcoming fiscal year of $553,623. Sanitation and Landfill Fund has a estimated carryover from prior year of $7,952,441. Estimated revenues for our upcoming year of $6,443,600. Estimated expenses for the upcoming year of $3,925,420, leaving an estimated fund balance at the end of this coming fiscal year of $10,470,621. The Closure and Post-Closure Fund has a carryover from prior year of $5,295,822. Estimated revenues for our upcoming year of $913,000. No estimated expenses for the upcoming year, which leaves an estimated fund balance of $6,208,822. The totals for all categories, the estimated carryover from prior year is $27,058,062. The estimated revenue for the upcoming year, and this is a little bit different than what is on your printed sheet there. The correct figure is $29,280,025. The estimated expenses for the upcoming year of $29,192,864, leaving an estimated fund balance at the end of this coming fiscal year of $27,154,483. This ordinance shall take effect as of July 1 of this year, according to passage and publication required by law.
Thank you, Rich. That's a good job of reading a lot of numbers. Everybody's had a whole lot of time to look over the budget, and at this point, the first thing we need to do would be to entertain a motion that we pass the first reading of the budget for the next fiscal year.
Motion by Bennell.
Okay, Bennell issues a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Norris.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there a discussion on the passage of the budget first reading for the next fiscal year?
Rich, could you give me the estimated revenue number again on the year-end balance? I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Last row, second column would be $29,280,025.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, other questions? All right, if there are no other questions, we have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and conduct the vote. Since it's an ordinance, we will do it roll call.
Bennell,
Yes.
Gauntz,
Yes, ma'am.
Kirkpatrick,
Yes, ma'am.
Lowry,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes, ma'am.
Neal, Norris,
Yes.
Trigg, Witcher.
All right, I believe we have a unanimous vote to pass first reading of the ordinance for the budget for the next fiscal year. I have to tell you that this is, we talked about teams a lot here tonight, but this budget just doesn't happen, and certainly it's not fabricated. This is a budget that requires department heads to get on board with the people that work with them, for the department heads to get with the finance department, for everybody to sit down and make ends meet and make sense out of all these numbers. And we have to thank Stephanie Garrett and Maddie Griffin from the finance department here up on the second floor who run all this through to where we were able to sit down and talk about it tonight. We've had good discussion about it, and I really appreciate your all's work, and so we've passed the first reading. And we will have the second reading. I guess it'll be at the next council meeting. What is that, the 26th? Okay, all right. Let's move forward right here. We've got a couple of other ordinances, first reading to deal with in this part of the meeting. I'm going to stop it here in a minute. Okay.
Mayor, this next ordinance is one that we do periodically for housekeeping. Everyone knows we contract with the American Legal Publishing Corporation out of Cincinnati. They codify all of our ordinances and resolutions and put that in the binder. So this I'll summarize this for you, but this approves the latest supplement. Whereas American Legal Publishing Corporation of Cincinnati, Ohio, has completed its 2023 S55 supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Glasgow, whereas the American Legal Publishing Corporation has recommended the revision or addition of certain sections of the code which are based on or make references to sections of the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and whereas it's the intent of the City Council to accept these updated sections in accordance with the changes of law in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, now therefore be it ordained by the City of Glasgow as follows. Section 1, that the 2023 S55 supplement to the Code of Ordinances of the City as submitted by American Legal Publishing Corporation and as attached as Exhibit A are hereby adopted by reference as if set out in their entirety. Section 2, this ordinance shall be in effect and be enforced from and after its passage, approval, and publication as required by law.
All right, this document was included in your board packet that was distributed on Thursday. It's pretty self-explanatory, but first of all, I'll entertain a motion for us to pass on first reading this ordinance to adopt this S55 Code of Ordinances.
Motion, Lowry.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Okay, discussion about the adoption of these particular changes in the Code of Ordinances. There being none, being an ordinance, we need to have a roll call vote on this item.
Benel,
Yes.
Gaunt,
Yes, ma'am.
Kirkpatrick,
Yes, ma'am.
Lowry,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes, ma'am.
Neal, Norris,
Yes.
Trigg, Witcher.
And the motion carries. Thank you very much. We have another resolution that Rich is going to read and explain, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I read the resolution, I do want to give you a little bit more information and background regarding this for the council and for everyone's benefit. So in the year 2022, the previous administration authorized the sale of certain property adjacent to the city's landfill situated along Bales Road, and it's also bordered by the South Fork Creek. At the May 8th council meeting of this year, this council approved the transfer of that property to the highest bidder, which was Jeff Job, for the sum of $60,200. That was $30,100 per lot. The transaction closed shortly thereafter, and a deed was delivered to Mr. Job in exchange for the purchase price. However, after the real estate closing, while researching the avoidance map for the bridge that's going to be built at the landfill borrowing area, the discovery was made that the land sold to Mr. Job had several areas of avoidance. The map references the EcoSource Corporation report, which derived their results from the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, from FEMA, and from the Kentucky EPA and the Corps of Engineers. And this area included 3 tree avoidances, which are Indiana bat habitats, jurisdictional wetland, open water, and a 50-foot stream buffer. So with all of that being discovered, the vast majority of the property sold to Mr. Job is restricted, and the bridge construction is between the design and the bid phase, so that's why it has recently been discovered. So when we got that information, based upon that, in speaking with Mayor Royce and April Russell, I felt that it was only fair that we notify Mr. Job as quickly as possible of the situation and let him know that there were restrictions on the land, because from what we had been told, he intended to develop the property, potentially build a structure on the property, so we only felt it was fair to inform him of those restrictions. When he was made aware of those, he elected to deed the property back to the city, have the purchase price returned, along with the sum of $500, which is partially reimbursing him for expenses that he incurred after the closing. He was paying contract laborers for cleaning up the property, the fence rows, and bush hogging the lot. So this resolution, I'll read here in just a minute, authorizes the mayor to sign a deed conveying the property back to him for the exchange of the purchase price plus $500. So that whereas on May 8th of this year, the City of Glasgow adopted a resolution authorizing and approving the transfer of the city's real property being Tracts 1 and 2, containing a total of 3.86 acres off Bales Road to Jeff Job. Whereas pursuant to that resolution, the City of Glasgow closed the transaction and a deed of conveyance was executed and delivered to Mr. Job, conveying the property for the purchase price of $60,200. Whereas since the closing of the aforementioned real estate transaction, it has come to the attention of the City of Glasgow that due to the proximity of the property to the city's landfill, there are certain prohibitions and restrictions regarding the property that would prohibit Mr. Job from developing the property as he originally intended. Whereas the City of Glasgow has communicated the issue to Jeff Job, and in turn, due to the prohibitions and restrictions on the property, Jeff Job desires to convey the property back to the city on the condition that the purchase price be returned to him and that the city additionally compensate him in the sum of $500 for miscellaneous expenses that he incurred in reliance upon acquiring clear title to the property. Now therefore, in light of the foregoing recitals, be it hereby resolved by the city as follows. The city shall retake ownership of the property described above by deed of conveyance from Jeff Job, and the city shall return to Jeff Job the purchase price paid in the amount of $60,200 and shall additionally pay to Jeff Job the sum of $500 to reimburse him for miscellaneous expenses that he incurred with the expectation that he would be acquiring title free and clear of any prohibitions or restrictions to the development of the property. Mayor Royce is authorized and directed to execute all documents necessary to complete the transaction on behalf of the city, including but not limited to a deed of conveyance. The city attorney is authorized and directed to prepare all real estate closing documents for the city and to conduct the closing.
You've heard the reading of this particular resolution, and Rich did a good job of explaining why we're here. So I would entertain a motion that we pass this resolution at this time. Motion from Councilman Neal. Is there a second? Second from Councilman Witcher. Is there discussion? As the explanation was given, certainly this is a good time to ask questions to clarify anything about this explanation.
Mayor Royce, do we have, we're going to reimburse the $500 to Mr. Job. Do we have receipts of those items that are reimbursable for our records?
I don't have those in hand, Mr. Bunnell, but I can get those. He outlined how he got those figures, and I'll get that from him.
I mean, whether they're 500, more, I think we need some documentation to show that that's reimbursable.
That's an excellent point, and all of this came about. He's been very cordial and agreeable to the fact that we just need to fix this, and I want to thank him for that, and I want to thank Ms. Russell for kind of discovering this in moving forward out there. She and her staff at the DPW kind of discovered that we had this relationship with Indiana Bats out there that we have to protect, and we're just kind of reversing it now. Other questions? Okay, all in favor of the resolution indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion passes. What I want to do right now is to officially entertain a motion to end the public hearing. We have had plenty of time for people who might have wanted to come and participate in the public hearing, and we would have honored their request to talk about municipal road aid, but I think before we move forward, we need to close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
Motion, Norris.
Okay, is there a second?
Second, Lowry.
Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. The public hearing is now closed. In the packet, this is for informational purposes, you have the names of several people who are to be appointed as per resolution number 2016-2341 for municipal orders. We will be voting on that on the 26th of June at our next council meeting. At this time in the agenda is where, when we amended the agenda, we talked about possibly going into closed session. I will entertain a motion at this time.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810.
Okay, and is there a second to
Second
that?
by Bunnell.
Okay, is there any discussion?
Mayor, I would just say that for the minutes, that section that Ms. Kirkpatrick talked about is for proposed or pending litigation.
Okay, all right. Very good. Okay, so all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed, like sign. We will exit to closed session and return shortly. Thank you. At this time, I will entertain a motion that we come back into open session.
Motion by Benel.
Motion by Vanel,
Second by
second by Happy, Neal, and Mr. Marion. Okay, we are back in open session, and there is some action to be taken tonight as a result of our closed session. Rich?
Thank you, Mayor. If you all recall, at the May 22nd council meeting, civil litigation involving Barbara England was discussed in closed session, and then in open session, the council authorized me to negotiate a settlement within a certain range. I am pleased to announce that a full settlement of Ms. England's claims have been reached through mediation, subject to the approval of this council. I can confirm as counsel for the city that the settlement was within the range previously authorized by the council at the May 22nd meeting, but I am not authorized to publicly disclose the exact dollar amount due to the confidentiality provisions contained in the settlement and release agreement. So, Mayor, based upon these representations, I request that a motion be made to approve the settlement with Ms. England and that you be authorized to execute the settlement documents and do anything necessary with my consultation to finally resolve the matter.
Okay, based upon the city attorney's representations, I would entertain that motion at this time.
Motion Kirkpatrick.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on the settlement that we have voted on? Any questions? All right, do we do this roll call or?
Voice vote.
Voice vote, okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the motion carries. Let's see, I believe that we just want to remind everybody that City Hall is going to be closed on Monday, June the 19th, in observance of the Juneteenth Freedom Day, but also April, the city bus will be running on Juneteenth. So, I'm sorry? Okay, so people who have a need to go to a doctor's appointment or somewhere, the Glasgow City Transit Authority will be in operation for your convenience on Juneteenth. So the next scheduled meeting is going to be on June the 26th at 6 p.m. right here. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Okay, we have Councilman Neal. Second Norris. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much for your attendance.